Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome to the Hidden Cup 5 Hero Showdown. Hidden Cup 5 is coming February 25th through March 3rd, and the main event will be streamed live on Twitch and YouTube. In this event, we have the 16 best players in the world, and these players are going to be competing on all new maps with crazy strategy, and their identities will be hidden. The players are playing on what's called heroes in Age of Empires 2, and these heroes are people who actually lived throughout history that have been added to the game. Last week, we randomized the bracket, and so we know the hero matchups, so it is time to see which hero is the strongest. Starting off with Vasco da Gama against Pachacuti. I had to look at the stats, and I'm not so sure this is going to go well for Pachacuti. Oh my goodness! This is not only a ranged ship from Vasco da Gama, this is multiple projectiles. And, well, you could see on the HP there that this ship is not taking much damage as well. And poor old slow Pachacuti is going to go down massively here in the first round of the Hero Showdown for Hidden Cup 5. Vasco da Gama advances. Up next, we have another exciting matchup between Sumangaru and Jean Bureau. I have a feeling this is going to be another lopsided matchup because Jean Bureau is weaker than a normal bombard cannon. This is an Age of Kings bombard cannon, and bombard cannons are much stronger. In fact, it seems as though Sumangaru is so confident here that he's trolling Jean Bureau at the moment. Not sure how Dave is going to feel about this, but we've got animals being killed on the battlefield, and so far this poor old bombard cannon hasn't been able to hit a shot. Now, there he did hit a shot. Now, heroes heal, so you will see the HP bar go up a bit more here for our blue player. And, well, bombard cannons have minimum range, and this is going exactly as everyone thought it would go, and Sumangaru is going to win the first round and advance to the quarterfinals. Up next, we have two fan favorites, Jadwiga against Otto the Great. Now, I didn't know this until we had selected this hero for Hidden Cup, but Jadwiga is actually a mounted monk. It looks as though she could attack, but she cannot attack. She can only heal, and while she can heal very well, and she is a hero, so she can actually heal herself, this does not bode well for war. The thing is, monks cannot convert heroes in Age of Empires 2, and all of these units, except for one, are heroes. So, as always is the case in these hero showdowns, the monks never have a chance, and Jadwiga is getting massacred by my boy Otto the Great. And Otto the Great advances to the quarterfinals. Up next, we have Gajamata against Gregory the Seventh. Now, Gajamata, for a unit that is so small, is incredibly strong, over 400 HP and 20 attack. And like we just said in the previous round, Gregory the Seventh is a monk, and monks cannot convert heroes, and Gajamata is a hero, and Gregory the Seventh gets sliced and diced to the ground. Very easy win for Gajamata. In the next round, it feels like we finally have somewhat of an even fight with King Stephen against Salim the Grim. Now, Salim the Grim is the hero I picked to win the whole thing, so I am slightly biased here as we cast this one. I mean, Salim looks so much cooler. Salim also knows about hill advantage. Let's go. And yeah, there looks like there is one tile that they can stand on for hill advantage here. So again, they're heroes, so they will heal up over time. It does feel like, though, the armor and the damage output here from Salim is working to his advantage so far. Now, these are actually controlled by humans, and whoever is controlling my boy Salim decided to stay at the bottom of the hill. But it does not matter. Salim the Grim will move on to the next round. In the next round, we have Khosrau against Emperor Sigismund. And the Emperor was voted in by the community in a landslide victory. So there might be quite a few of you rooting for the Emperor here. Very frequently in these fights, though, range matters. So we'll see how this works out here with an elephant range unit. Lots of HP, lots of attack here, and we fight. And Khosrau's going to take the hill. Now, I'm kind of noticing, I know that the image for the hero is different, but this does not look anything like him. This does not look like the avatar image at all. I'm not seeing a beard at all, but okay, maybe they didn't expect us to really pay attention. For the time being, the mobility for the Emperor is definitely paying off. I mean, it looks like he took some damage there, so he simply just run away. Now, heroes do heal at the same exact rate. And so it's not like if one of these guys has a heal advantage over the other. Now, heal advantage, on the other hand, is present. There are some heals here that can maybe use, but this has been a rather long fight, a rather close fight, and it's getting very close. And it's important not to hesitate here, or maybe even shoot a deer. Again, these are humans controlling this, and humans are flawed. Whoa, the duck and the weave and the dodge there from the Emperor, and he is fighting up the hill. This is incredibly close. This is our closest fight. Khazra wins the fight with 5 HP remaining and advances to the next round. In the next round, we have an interesting battle because we have the cheat code unit for Hidden Cup 5, Alfred the Alpaca, which was also voted in by the community, up against Jan Žižka, which is going to be an extremely popular pick for people. Kind of a funny thing is Alfred the Alpaca speaks. Listen.
Good God, your hands are cold. What's up?
I think those are the only 2 things that Alfred will say. You may hear him off in the distance as I select him during the battle.
Did you wash before you touched me?
Yes, I did wash before I touched you, Alfred. Okay, the fight begins, and here we go. Now, interesting little fact about this. So, Alfred has insane armor. And with how much armor Alfred has, he will only ever take 1 damage from the attack from Jan Žižka here. And he would do a lot of damage to Jan Žižka, but Jan Žižka can outrun him. Also, Jan Žižka is a hero, which means he heals. So, in theory, this situation that you are watching on screen right now could happen indefinitely forever, right? So, we actually had to eventually get admins involved in this whole situation. It's just a hero showdown after all. But decisions had to be made. Votes needed to be made to determine what we do here. Because, look, some crazy damage was done. If Alfred gets to hit Jan Žižka, Alfred's going to win easily. But technically, Jan Žižka could just wait, heal up, and then, you know, eventually just do 1 HP of damage a time over time. And the decision was made. You could tell Alfred's not really happy about it, but the decision was made that if there was like $1 billion on the line and they would be fighting their hardest, no matter how long it took, Jan Žižka, because he can heal and Alfred cannot, would eventually win. And the admins decided that Jan Žižka wins due to that fact. Hopefully there's no drama here, but Jan Žižka advances on. So after that very controversial finish to the previous series, we have the final series in the round of 16. And it is a big one between Alexios Komnenos and Robert Giscard. Just having a look at the stats and also looking at the unit type, it does feel like this could be a close one. This is to move into the quarterfinals in Hidden Cup 5. Who will be able to win this one? Now, Alexios was on the hill, but Robert joined him up here. And interesting battle so far. It seems as though Giscard is winning this one, and Alexios is running away in fear. I love the terrain we have for each battle. It's so nice to see. I don't know if there's any home field advantage here for either player, but yeah, it definitely seems as though Alexios is struggling with the potency of the attack. Look at that poke. Look at him go. Poking right through the guy. Maybe that's what happens, Alexios, when you pull your shield to the side, you fool. Alexios goes down, and you Pudding's favorite hero moves on. But before we dive into the quarterfinals, I do need to mention the sponsor that makes all this possible in Surfshark. Hidden Cup 5 obviously has a huge hidden element to it. And in today's day and age, our internet traffic is not very hidden. Surfshark is playing a big role in Hidden Cup 5, but can also play a big role in your experiences on the internet. Surfshark VPN allows you to change your location with ease for a variety of different benefits. On top of the potential for added data security, Surfshark can make it easy to access shows or movies on various streaming platforms that may only be available in certain countries. Additionally, many websites show you prices based on your location. So shopping for things like flight tickets or hotels with Surfshark can be an easy way to save you money. I personally have encountered issues where when trying to upload content for you, that I found my internet was not giving me the quality that I was paying for. Turns out my internet service provider puts a cap that they don't really make obvious, and with using Surfshark VPN, I'm actually able to bypass that cap and upload things much faster to my editors and to the channel. Honestly, there are too many benefits to mention for using a VPN, and all that information is available on their website. And with the promo code HC5 that you can find in the video description, you can get Surfshark VPN for free for 3 months. All right, folks, to the quarterfinals we go. We have Vasco da Gama against Simanguru. How will it go? I am thinking that Vasco da Gama is going to kill everybody in this bracket. I mean, 5 shots, ranged, also incredibly fast as well. But I'd love to be proven wrong here. So far, Simanguru's micro is fantastic, navigating the waters here. And then he goes in to get a hit, and Vasco da Gama is microing away. It doesn't seem like Vasco's really even taking that much damage here from Simanguru. And Vasco da Gama just destroying. I actually remember a Hidden Cup 4 showdown, for those that were with me 3 years ago, where the Admiral, the turtle ship, was incredibly strong. It seems like hero ships in this game are just something else. Vasco da Gama dominating. And very, very good control as well here in Hidden Cup 5 Hero Showdown. It does, show some decent sportsmanship, or maybe it's lack of sportsmanship, and is allowing the opponent to get some hits. But Vasco da Gama to the semifinals. The next quarterfinal is between Otto the Great and Gajimata. These guys absolutely stomped their first-round opponents. However, their first-round opponents could not fight back. So, I'm not sure what that says about them. But stat-wise, they are incredibly strong. And here we are. Now, if you were to just look at this without knowing the unit stats, you would always lean towards Otto the Great, because of the fact that he is not shirtless, and he has a shield, and he has a horse, and he has a longer sword. And there's a lot of different factors, honestly. But right now, he's camping this hill. And it does seem like the hill has mattered quite a bit here, and that he is slightly beating Gajimata. Now, Gajimata, a fearless warrior, does not really want to, or it seems happy to fight up the hill. And now Gajimata comes over here, stands on this hill, and says, well, how about you let me be on the hill for a second? And Otto the Great is going to take that hill from him. And Otto the Great's micro is really helping here. Otto's getting a lot of free hits. There's some very confused deer on the sidelines. Gajimata now on this hill, and Otto is going to finish him off anyways. Otto the Great moves on to the semifinals. That brings us to quarterfinal number 3, where we have Salim the Grim against Khosrow. Now, I think we all know Salim is going to win Hidden Cup 5. I don't know which player is Salim the Grim, but Salim the Grim is by far the coolest name in the entirety of Hidden Cup. I say this with no bias whatsoever. That is just factual information. So if you're watching Hidden Cup 5, I hope you are okay with spoilers. Salim the Grim is going to win. And we'll see if Salim the Grim is going to win this fight. Right now, it seems pretty close. I think the issue right now for Khosrow is, while Khosrow is a ranged unit and you normally want to hit and run, Salim the Grim is very speedy here. And actually, I seem to recall Salim also kind of taunting the opponent in the first round as well. Salim a little bit spicy. He is currently behind the elephant, chopping away, now chopping the hindquarters of the elephant, now the front of the elephant's face. And yeah, Salim the Grim dominates Khosrow there. Impressive stuff, and he will go to the semifinals. Here we are for our final quarterfinal between Jan Žižka and Robert Giscard. Now, I expect this one to be close. Again, it seems like they've got similar amounts of armor, right? Similar sized units. I don't know if that'll mean anything here. Not sure which weapon I would prefer to be whacked with. I'd prefer neither, honestly, but this should be an epic battle. And so far with the HP, this is looking incredibly close. Now, there may be a slight difference with attack speed for Robert here, but it does seem like Jan Žižka is doing so much damage. And Jan Žižka seems to be the slower of the two, so we could have the heal tactic utilized here if there's enough space to move around, but there is not. And Jan Žižka moves on to the semifinal. So that takes us to semifinal number 1, where we have Vasco da Gama against Otto the Great. And Otto has looked strong. Otto has looked fantastic. If there's anyone who could beat this Vasco da Gama character, it is going to be Otto. And here we go. Semifinal number 1, Hidden Cup 5. The tournament that, well, I mean, at least the hero tournament anyways, that doesn't really matter, but a lot of people are really invested in, I hope. It does feel like the shorefish element does give some potential movement advantage here for Vasco da Gama. I'm hearing reports that people are saying rigged as we speak. And, oh, this is just not fair. Vasco da Gama's movement speed is crazy. How? Over ice and over corpses? Like, over skeletons? Well, Age of Empires 2 is not incredibly realistic. I think we know that. And Vasco da Gama is just laying into Otto the Great. Otto the Great is keeping up, though. I feel like if Otto the Great gets some hits, that one's kind of difficult. Otto's still on the move. Yeah, it feels like Vasco da Gama, maybe if he gets a little bit of carpal tunnel syndrome, maybe misclicks a couple times, that there might be a chance here for Otto. I mean, this is a best of 7, guys. We're only in game number 4. It's sure it might be 3-1 for Vasco da Gama. Oh, shoot. No. I can do math. Yeah, 3-1, right? Maybe we could have a 3 wins in a row here for Otto the Great. I might be saying what we're saying during actual Hidden Cup 5. And it seems like Vasca is going to allow a couple hits here, but this is a very, very slow process for Otto the Great to be taken out. I actually want to zoom in a little bit more. Yeah, I don't want to get too pixely for you guys. But yeah, it seems like Vasco da Gama is going to win this one and move on to the grand final of Hidden Cup 5 Hero Showdown. Vasco da Gama finally does it. Otto the Great finally giving it up and goes down. And that brings us to our second semifinal then between Slim the Grim and Jan Žižka. The winner here moves on to the final and will probably be a massive underdog against Vasco da Gama. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here. On the left is Slim the Grim. On the right, we've got Jan Žižka, and they're going to go to town. And in previous fights were pretty close for Jan Žižka. Actually, I guess in the quarterfinals, Jan Žižka won pretty comfortably. Let's see how Slim does. This seems incredibly close at the moment. And Slim, whoever's controlling my character, is fighting uphill constantly here. Slim refusing to get the hill. Slim receiving some extra damage. And photo finish? No way. Slim the Grim goes down to Jan Žižka. That brings us, friends, to our grand final of the Hero Showdown. Vasco da Gama, like the true champion he very well may be, has arrived early. I've heard reports Jan Žižka will be here any moment, though. He definitely is going to show up and fight this one out. The townspeople have arrived. They're all ready and waiting, ready and witnessing this occasion. We've got the king and the queen towards the top of your screen there. Queen does not seem interested in watching the bloodshed, which is very interesting, but maybe she's just a big Jan Žižka fan, and she doesn't want to share that with the king. Vasco da Gama is completely shredding through Jan Žižka right now, and maybe Jan Žižka just didn't have enough stamina after the first couple rounds were quite close. Vasco da Gama is our winner of the Hidden Cup 5 Hero Showdown, and that was about as expected as maybe it could have gone. I mean, some of those fights were brutal. And this ship is so incredibly strong. And there is our winner, surrounded by riches and glory and Cobra cars, and also stormy dogs through the skies. Vasco da Gama wins the Hidden Cup 5 Hero Showdown in convincing fashion. And that, my friends, is the conclusion of the Hero Showdown. And these very heroes are actually going to be controlled by players in-game in Age of Empires 2, February 25th through March 3rd. Now, all of this stuff is going to come to YouTube in the form of videos. But so much work has been put into making sure the live show of Hidden Cup 5 is the best live show ever. And while, of course, all views on YouTube are going to be appreciated in the future, it is my goal with this to break records if possible. Now, I don't know how long you've been watching my channel or how long you've been playing Age of Empires, but all I ask is that maybe you consider showing up to the live event February 25th through March 3rd. The start time is roughly 15 GMT each day, which is 10 a.m. Eastern, and each day is going to go around 8 hours. During the live broadcast, you'll have more information on these heroes. You'll have a lot of information on the players if you're not familiar with them. And of course, on top of all that, really fun Age of Empires 2 games. Link to the description is also a short or a TikTok if you'd like to pass along to a friend. Let them know Hidden Cup 5 is happening, and then maybe you can get closer to your friends and get them into Age of Empires 2. But for those that will be there, for those that are excited to watch, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Viewership aside, I know it's going to be an amazing experience, and I'm really excited to get down to it and finally start this tournament. That's pretty much it for me, guys. Thank you very much, and I'll see you at Hidden Cup 5. I can't, his name is so difficult for me to say. How the hell am I supposed to say this, dude? How the hell am I supposed to say this? Here we are for our final quarterfinal between Jan Žižka and Robert Giscard. Fuck. Okay.